I'm Ben Meiselas from the MeidasTouch Network. Nothing to see here, just Donald Trump's co-defendant and former lawyer John Eastman completely and totally incriminating himself during an interview on Fox with Laura Ingraham. Yeah, John Eastman, who was recently trying to invoke his Fifth Amendment right against self-incrimination to try to block or delay state bar proceedings to revoke his legal license for aiding and abetting a coup, where a federal judge in the Central District of California said that Eastman was indeed involved in a coup in search of a legal theory. Fortunately, the state bar court rejected John Eastman's request to stay or pause the proceedings to revoke his license as a result of his attempt to invoke the Fifth Amendment. Because one of the things the judge says is, Eastman, you keep on talking. You've waived your right to assert a Fifth Amendment as a basis for trying to delay these proceedings. You could invoke it now if you want to, but you're speaking to a lot of other people, and you've spoke before the state bar court before, and so we ain't stalling this state bar proceeding either. And so what does Eastman do? He goes on Fox, he goes on Laura Ingraham. Here's the interview where Laura Ingraham asks him, so what were you trying to accomplish? And then what he states is a crime. He admits to the crime. Here, play this clip.
John, and just again, so we clarify this, on January 6th, what did you want to happen? And how was that historically grounded? In the history of our country, how would that have taken place? So just so the viewers can understand what would have unfolded and how that would have ultimately been constitutional.
So there were, several things. Some people had urged that Vice President Pence simply had power to reject electors whose certification was still pending in legal contests.
I don't believe that, but go ahead. I don't believe that.
I don't
That's
either.
One thing I don't agree with.
And I explicitly told Vice President Pence in the Oval Office on January 4th that even though it was an open issue, under the circumstances we had, I thought it was the weaker argument, and it would be foolish to exercise such power even if he had it. What I recommended, and I've said this repeatedly, is that he accede to requests from more than 100 state legislators in the swing states to give them a week to try and sort out the impact of what everybody acknowledged was illegality in the conduct of the election.
And I specifically said, it. Yeah, not everyone acknowledged it, but that was the argument that was being made, obviously. And there were obviously irregularities that everybody had seen, but whether that was, whether it rose to the level of changing the outcome of the election, again, without a legal proceeding in the states that mattered, the argument ultimately was a difficult one to make. I mean, hence here we are.
Yeah, that's how it's going to sound to a jury. You just said is a crime, and here's the thing too, is that, his lawyer would, I assume, not call him to the witness stand for that reason. But now Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis could just say, okay, let's play that interview. There it is right there. And, you could have John Eastman say, we did nothing wrong and wah. We were just challenging the election. You challenge an election in the courts, and when you lose, you don't get to change the votes from the winner, Biden, to the loser, Trump. You don't get to stop the counting. It's like a very simple premises. And the only people who are politicizing this are the Republicans trying to turn our democratic political system, our democracy as a political system, into a fascist authoritarian regime. Here, this is John Eastman saying, we did nothing wrong. Yes, you did. You really did. You did the worst of the worst behavior. Play the clip.
Why did you decide to speak out tonight, knowing that anything you say to the media or to this program could then be potentially used against you?
Well, Laura, first, thanks for having me on. Look, I've been speaking out all along. We did nothing wrong. We were challenging the election for what even Vice President Pence described as serious allegations of fraud and numerous instances of officials violating state law. And if we can't speak out about that, then our freedom of speech, our right to petition the government for redress of grievances are gone. But also importantly, I'm an attorney, and the people that I was representing had a right to counsel. And what's going on here with the bar complaints against everybody involved in any of the litigation, this Fulton County complaint, the unindicted co-conspirators, and the federal action, they're trying to stifle people from being able to get representation in election challenges. They've made that very clear that that's what they're up to, and we can't allow it to happen.
And apparently, Fox hasn't learned its lesson from the defamation lawsuits. And by the way, you have all of these people going on Fox as though Fox is going to save them. Fox just settled for almost $1 billion in one defamation case, like the single largest defamation settlement rather in history that Fox settled for. So you think Fox is going to help you? You saw those emails that the Fox people are chickens with their heads cut off, trying to do whatever Donald Trump tells them, and then sometimes not liking Trump, and then sometimes doing it. It's a mess. Here, by the way, is John Eastman responding. I dare you to find one email that shows that I engaged in improper conduct. Here, play this clip.
On the RICO side of the Fulton County case, that would require findings of bad faith on the part of all the co-defendants that were engaged in this RICO conspiracy, according to this Fannie Willis. So on that score, John, that would have to be you all basically agreeing implicitly, explicitly, that y'all knew that this was all phony, and that your effort, your decision amongst yourselves was to advance a plan to overturn the election. And to that you say?
Well, they've got all the evidence. They've got all my emails. My phone was seized over a year ago, so they've got all that stuff as well. And I challenge them to find a single email or communication that supports that implausible theory.
And by the way, we have those emails, dozens of those emails. A federal judge in the Central District of California, Judge David Carter, said he's reviewed your emails when you tried to block the January 6th committee from getting it, and said you are engaged in a coup in search of a legal theory. He found that your emails implicated you in crimes. This was before the Fulton County District Attorney indictment by close to a year. I got to show you this one too, just to remind you. This is Republican Eric Hirschman, who was a lawyer in the Trump administration, a senior White House lawyer. You remember him from the January 6th committee hearings. And, while he is a Republican, he is someone I respect, and he told the truth. And he was someone who was telling Donald Trump and Eastman and all these others, you lost. Get on with it. And here in this clip, you've got Hirschman recounting in his testimony to the January 6th committee how he told Eastman when Eastman called him, when Eastman was engaging in the crimes, you're going to need a criminal defense lawyer, a good effing criminal defense lawyer. Play this clip of Eric Hirschman.
Eastman, I don't remember why he called me, or he texted me or called me, wanted to talk with me, and he said he couldn't reach others. And he started to ask me about something dealing with Georgia and preserving something potentially for appeal. And I said to him, are you out of your effing mind? Right? I said, I only want to hear two words coming out of your mouth from now on. Orderly transition. And I screamed, I said, I don't want to hear any other effing words coming out of your mouth, no matter what, other than orderly transition. Repeat those words to me. And I screamed that, and he said, eventually he said, orderly transition. I said, good, John. Now I'm going to give you the best free legal advice you're ever getting in your life. Get a great effing criminal defense lawyer. You're going to need it. And then I hung up on him.
And Eric Hirschman was right. Here's the mugshot of John Eastman. There it is right there, folks. And so, MAGA Republicans, Eastman, Trump, Alina Habba, this whole crew, they keep going on TV. And I guess because they think, I guess the MAGA bubble is so engulfed there, any sense of reason and rationality. Do they think that they're saying something that is believable? Like, they are very clearly saying and articulating the crime and making exhibits. Exhibits that will be used against them. Go to MeidasTouch.com for all the breaking news on MeidasTouch. Wherever you get audio podcasts, make sure you subscribe to the MeidasTouch podcast as well. Hit subscribe on our YouTube channel and have a great day.
Hey Meidas Mighty, love this report? Continue the conversation by following us on Instagram @MeidasTouch to keep up with the most important news of the day. What are you waiting for? Follow us now.